It's another cold winter day in the south. Kind of the downside to me working in my driveway is that when it's cold and raining, I don't really want to be out here. So I don't really want to be out here today, but I am. And what we're gonna do is work on the inside of those fenders, the little flanges that I made in the last video. I was able to get the fenders off and into the shop, so I'm just gonna sand them down today, lay some Bondo down over them, and then I'm gonna undercoat them because I don't really want to finish them all the way out for paint. Honestly, just because I think it's a waste of time. This is not gonna really be seen. And when it is seen, it's kind of a second thought. So I think what I'm going to do is get them kind of close, undercoat them so they look like the inside of a fender, and move on to the next thing. I'm ready to be done with these rear fenders. I'm over them. So I'm going to try to get a lot of that knocked out today and finish it up tomorrow. That way I can get a video out for you guys and move on to the next thing, because I'm just ready to move on to the next thing. We still got to do the front of the car. I have some cool plans for that. And potentially the hood. I haven't decided if I'm going to put the hood scoop on there yet. Mainly it's just a time thing. I want to get this thing given away this year, so depending on how long these fenders take, that's how I'll decide whether or not I'm going to do the hood. Anyway, let's get to work. Alright, so as I was cutting those fenders, I realized that the flanges that I'm going to use to mount them to the car were like a little bit flimsy, so I decided to add 3 more layers of fiberglass to each one, just to thicken them up a little bit so that I don't have to worry about them cracking when I do screw them into the car. It's going to take a little while for that fiberglass to set up. It's pretty cold out today. Fiberglass is an exothermic type of reaction, so it needs heat. So I use a little bit extra hardener, but I think it's still going to take a couple hours for them to dry up. Once they get dry, I'm going to reevaluate kind of what I'm doing, and I may add Bondo if I feel like it's needed, but if not, I may just throw on some undercoat, and it's going to hide a lot of my crimes. So if I think I can get away with that, I'll just put undercoat on them. That way I can get these things back on the car and body work, and then we can finally move on to something other than these rear fenders.
Mama?
So I said I was going to use undercoating, but the problem was the last time I used undercoating, it never really dried. I used it really thick, and it just stayed wet forever. It turned into like a gunky, goopy mess. So I started thinking, well, what works like undercoating? Kind of a rubberized coating that's really tough and waterproof preferably, and will fill in some cracks and gaps, and I came up with this. So this is Flexseal, like the TV stuff, and I've used it on like house projects, like roofs and stuff like that, where I had leaks. Never on a car. So we're going to try it on this wide body kit, mainly just in these areas where you're going to open the door and see kind of the bracket thing that I made. I'm going to try to cover it in this and see if that makes it look a little bit better. And then if it works, I may do the back side of the fenders as well, just to kind of make it look a little bit cleaner when you're underneath the car. So I don't know. I know this is like a super gimmicky thing, but I'm going to try it. I think it's actually going to work pretty well. motivational Caleb speaker time because it's late and I'm feeling pretty motivated. I've had a lot of comments recently that I've just seen from you guys through Instagram and mainly through YouTube that just say things like, man, it's so cool to see you pursuing this dream and building this stuff with family. And the truth is, it's a lot harder than it used to be to build things. So if you ever see me in this shop, it's mostly going to be at night. It means it's nighttime, it's late, everybody's asleep. The truth is, most of my YouTube work happens when everybody is asleep. So 9 o'clock to 1 or 4 to 6 or 7, depending on how late the boys sleep. And I say that to say this, it's worth it to me. I'm pursuing this dream. I want to do this full time. I want to build cars full time. And I don't feel like my family should suffer for that. So I work at night. And I get to work in the day sometimes. It's really awesome when my wife gets to take care of my kids and I have free time to just build and work. Or when I just have one child, you'll see him on the videos when I'm working. So those times do happen, but the majority of my YouTube work happens when everybody else is asleep. And I tell you that because I know a lot of you guys are thinking about going into YouTube or building cars or doing some insert dream here job, and I get questions about it all the time saying like, how do I do it? Where do I start? How do you make this stuff work? And the answer to that is you just gotta do it like whenever you can. You know, if it's late at night, do it. If it's early in the morning, do it. Whenever you can fit time to do it, you just gotta start doing it. And eventually something's gonna happen. You keep doing something long enough, some change is gonna happen. So all that to say, if you have this dream to be on YouTube or to build cars or whatever, pursue it. But it's going to take some sort of sacrifice somewhere in your life. Like every sort of change is going to take sacrifice. And a lot of times that means sacrificing some sleep or free time. So that's all my motivation. We'll get back to work.
Well, that's good to know.
Alright, so you'll notice this gap is about as thick as this screwdriver right here. The issue, well, there's not really an issue. This needs to come out a little bit, which I'll be able to do when I mount the inside, which that's no big deal. This needs to go in a little bit because when I filled all this stuff in with fiberglass, I never actually sanded the back of it, so it's holding the fender out. A little bit up here, but a little bit up here translates to a lot up there. So I'm going to sand that back and level that out, but that'll be for another video. It's not really what this video is about. Other than that, I think this thing came out really good. This transition down is kind of like, it's real smooth now, which is cool. So I think it'll make a lot more sense. And I will probably pull this out some. Yeah, that's good right there. Cool. Let's do the other side. Alright, so that's it. They're back on. This has been the steepest learning curve I think I've ever had on this channel. Making these work for 4 doors is just not easy at all. And it's just hard. But this is going to be the last video for these things. I will finish them out off camera, and then the next time you see them, they will be done. You may see me go back to them in other videos, but they're not going to get their own dedicated video anymore. I'm ready to move on to other things, and these still have a good bit of body work that need to be done to them, and I just don't want to do any more body work on these on camera. So I'll be doing that while I'm working through this other stuff, trying to get these flat, make this transition good between the door and the fender, and just get them finished out. And then once they're finished out, I'll show them to you again, probably when we reveal the car and its final body work. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you check out all my other stuff. I've got tons of videos on photoshopping, on building wide body kits, on my new Corolla that I just bought, Flip Fridays, all kinds of content for you guys to watch. Go check that out on the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you hadn't subscribed yet. Hit that notification button so you know when new videos come up, and I will see you very soon.